Ted Cruz is facing backlash now because he chose to take his family to Cancun. All the while, Texas was dealing with the freezing temperatures because of the power grid failures. Now, he's getting a ton of backlash for this, and I'm going to get into the story about why the backlash is overrated. This is nothing but a humongous distraction. But before I do, please remember to like this video and share this video, and also to subscribe to the channel as well. So, getting into this story. This is about Ted Cruz taking his family to Cancun. Many of you have probably already known this. It's already been blowing up on Twitter, pretty much everywhere at this point. So from Ted Cruz, what he was basically saying is, he left yesterday. The plan had been to stay through the weekend with his family. And then, of course, he talks about dealing with some of the issues. Obviously, the backlash right after he arrived, because apparently people don't know anything about how power grids work. And all of a sudden, they're talking about how Ted Cruz is apparently going to fix this entire situation by just being back in Texas, which obviously makes no sense. So following the firestorm that erupted after the story emerged, Cruz said his initial doubts worsened. And then he went back to Texas after all of this stuff started blowing up on Twitter. This is all about left-wing outrage over this. So Texas Democrats are going to go after him aggressively on this, is what the Washington Post is saying. And if he runs for president, certainly over Republicans are going to draw their dichotomy with Cruz and say, look at what he did for his constituents in a need of time. So, or a time of need, sorry. So getting into what's really happening here. This is a massive distraction in my opinion. Why is that the case? This is a huge distraction away from what Andrew Cuomo has been doing in New York. Andrew Cuomo was literally somebody that put policies in place, like put them in place on purpose, that basically resulted in a ton of deaths from people in nursing homes due to COVID-19. And we're talking about Ted Cruz in this situation. What's crazy is that left-wing people are jumping on this like crazy. Like, Ted Cruz should have been in Texas. Ted Cruz should have been there. Why would he ever put family over what's happening in Texas? Lord forbid somebody actually care about their family. That's what the left-wing kind of mob is saying right now. I mean, they're literally protesting outside of this guy's house, which is beyond ridiculous on its face anyways. But they're telling you all of this stuff. Meanwhile, whose fault is it that all of this stuff was happening anyways? It's all of that green stuff. It's the windmills that didn't work, the batteries that couldn't conserve the power because of the temperatures. And granted, yes, there were other failures too. But to pretend as if this is somehow literally all up to Ted Cruz is insane. That's what's crazy about this. And the left-wing people are doing nothing but trying to attack him for that. Meanwhile, Governor Cuomo is doing whatever he wants to do, getting away scotch-free by actually having policy that resulted in the deaths of people. I don't know what they're even really upset with Ted Cruz about. It seems like they're just trying to point the finger at somebody, and he just happens to be the closest person to be able to do that to. And if I was Ted Cruz, I would not apologize for those very reasons. You have an obligation to your family, as you mentioned, and the left-wing mob is always going to attack you for something. That's what this is. This is a version of cancel culture. Typically, the cancel culture thing is dealing with something else. Like, oh, Ted Cruz said something I don't agree with, so let's try to cancel him. And then he'll stand up firm and has this, kind of this good backbone and says, I'm not going to kowtow to these people. But in this situation, it's really no different. Just because it's a tangible situation with the power grid failure doesn't mean that this is a reason to apologize to the left-wing mob. They don't care about any of those people in Texas. They've spent all their time on Twitter ignoring Governor Cuomo. So, of course, they're just going to attack Ted Cruz because it's Ted Cruz. They don't care about any of the people and what they're dealing with in Texas at all. They don't care about the reasoning behind it. They don't care that half of the reason is their stupid policies with the green stuff. They don't care about that. What they're only trying to do is attack Ted Cruz. And if I were him, I would not apologize because it's only going to get worse. And that's why they're outside of their house, outside of his house, protesting and all of that. Because an apology is never going to be enough. Oh, he said he's sorry, so the mob's going to stop. That's the sign right there that you should never apologize for this stupidity that they're doing and what they're saying. Because if you apologize, it's never going to be enough. They're going to continue to ask and demand more and more and more. So don't give an inch or they will take a mile. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments what you think. Should Ted Cruz have apologized or not? Should he have just stood his ground and just said, I don't regret anything at all? Let me know what you think in the comments. But with that being said, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.